Thanks for joining me. I have to say the results of the election are disheartening for those of us who wanted a federal government that was a partner in moving forward. We pretty clearly don't have that now, but one thing I want to make clear is that we're not shying away from how we govern here in Montgomery County. Like many others, I've spent time pondering how this happened. Clearly, this was, first and foremost, an economy election. Many working class voters living paycheck to paycheck, aligned with President-elect Trump, many for the first time. The rising prices and corporate profits do not sit well with people struggling to make ends meet. The world is more expensive for many of us, and economic policies set by the Federal Reserve are major contributors. President Biden, though he didn't create the policies, left Federal Chair Jerome Powell, Trump's pick to lead the Fed, in place. What could possibly go wrong with that? In doing that, Fed policy, for all practical purposes, became the president's policy, and the damage and stress those policies caused left Biden holding the bag, so to speak. What was so wrong with these directives? They put far too much value in driving up stock prices to help the economy rather than creating jobs. One analyst put it like this: there was a floor to stock and bond prices, but never a ceiling. He worried about stock prices more than grocery store prices. And to cap it off, Chairman Powell made a statement that highlighted his disdain for the American people. He said that Fed policy was to slow growth because job growth saw jobs chasing people rather than people chasing jobs. With low unemployment, workers had more choices for work, and that created pressure to raise wages to attract workers, which he blamed for overheating the economy. So better jobs with higher pay became a bad thing. That had to be stopped. This is not the message you should ever say, unless you're a tycoon who has an interest in depressing wages. But a public servant ought to have been thinking about how to serve the people best, not how to maximize corporate profits. Tell working people that the policy is to shrink jobs and depress wages couldn't have come at a worse time. So while record highs on Wall Street were celebrated, the lack of corresponding jobs and higher wage jobs bred frustration. Jobs and the potential for advancement are key components in building and keeping a middle class. The Fed chair's decision to slow down our economy as we recovered from a once-in-a-century pandemic by ratcheting up interest rates and keeping them artificially elevated did not make our economy any stronger. It hampered our production, hurt average Americans, local and state governments, and the business community. Since the pandemic, I've clearly been seeing increased challenges that we're facing in the cost of operating the government and to serve our residents. If this government has struggled, then every government, most businesses, and particularly the small and medium firms, have struggled as well. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see a direct correlation between higher costs and angry voters. The Democratic Party lost the faith and trust of many working people, especially those without college degrees. We should question seriously why a billionaire candidate, being advised by the world's richest men, was able to connect more with the working class than the Democratic Party did. Montgomery County voters stood out from the national results, overwhelmingly supporting Kamala Harris, as we have in every election in which Trump was on the ballot. There is a clear mandate from the residents of the county that they want and support Democratic priorities and progressive policies. I agree with what Governor Moore said this week. Essentially, we're going to work with the new administration whenever we can and voice our disagreements when we have them. I look forward to continuing to work for the best interests of our county's residents. But most immediately, we remain most concerned about those in our community who are living in fear and anxiety. We continue to monitor reports of hate incidents. Yesterday, I met with Chief Yamada, and that was the key focus of our conversation. We agree that our policies remain unchanged by this election. I'm also getting updates from our 5 regional service centers as well as the Office of Community Partnerships, who are liaisons to our diverse ethnic and faith communities. I want to assure all residents in any community that feels threatened that we are here to listen, help, and respond quickly to your concerns when needed. There are still many questions tied to this transition. We will continue to analyze and review all potential impacts we are likely to see from the change in federal leadership, particularly the potential physical impacts from the loss of federal funds. We must prepare and expect significant changes to laws, policies, regulations, and budget regulations, as well as budget expenditures that we are currently benefiting from. Updates have been coming all week about new leaders announced by the Trump administration, leading to speculation that are over the future of federal agencies and their workforce. There are clear indications that federal agencies will be targeted for elimination, shrinking, and relocating. There is a risk to a substantial number of jobs being lost, and there are unlikely to be parallel employment opportunities for many of those employees. Many could be forced to move from the region, and selling their homes may be challenging in a market that could be glutted by housing as a result. Many may simply not be able to find new jobs and incomes that will allow them to keep their homes. This is truly going to be disruptive and painful. Willfully causing this much harm to so many people who work to serve the public interest is a sad commentary on the incoming administration. We'll continue to take pride in our diverse and inclusive community. Immigrants from around the world come here specifically because their communities are established and they feel safe here. We will continue to do everything in our power to ensure that we maintain the reputation which has made us a stronger county, both economically and culturally. I've seen many president elections in my lifetime. I've probably disliked most results more than I've liked them. No matter who's residing in the White House, I've never let that affect my commitment to those in need, the working and middle-class people who build this country, and the marginalized. And this election won't change me either. I look forward to working with Governor Moore, our congressional delegation, including our new Congresswoman April McLean Delaney, our state delegation, the county council, and our neighboring jurisdictions as we navigate these changing times for our county, our region, and our state, and our country. This week, the county rolls out the Move Grant program to help attract new businesses to Montgomery County and allow established companies to expand operations. Businesses can apply for a one-time grant to help pay for a commercial lease within the county. Existing county firms can also use the money to widen their footprint to accommodate more employees, production, or manufacturing space. Companies must be growing by at least 500 square feet to qualify. Awards will depend on the size of the space leased. The Move Grant program was enacted by the council this summer. Since then, our Small Business Center has been working on executive regulations needed to allow businesses to apply for the money. We've developed eligibility criteria for the awards and administration protocols for the program. The maximum reward for a large business within a strategic industry will be $150,000 per business. Retail businesses and restaurants are excluded from the program. The Montgomery County Business Center developed the regulations and will administer the grant program. It's a team that does door-to-door outreach to businesses throughout the county to address challenges, help develop networks within the business community, and these community leaders are encouraged to visit montgomerycountymd.gov/business to learn more about the program and apply. Applications are now being accepted for one of Montgomery County's most important awards, Human Rights Hall of Fame honors. It honors residents who help advance human and civil rights in the county. You can go back in your family archive to honor a lost relative or nominate someone who's been an example of extraordinary citizenship. We will judge each applicant on their lasting contributions to civil rights within the county. To nominate someone for the Hall of Fame, we ask for a short narrative supporting the nomination, between 250 and 300 words. We also ask that you provide supplemental information like letters of recommendation or newspaper articles supporting the nomination. Nominations should be mailed to the Office of Human Rights or submitted online at montgomerycountymd.gov/human rights. The deadline for submission is Monday, November 25th. Our goal is to pay tribute to those who fought tirelessly for fairness and equality. We celebrate their achievements and remind ourselves of the work still ahead. The legacy drives us to build a Montgomery County where every resident's rights are upheld and every voice is valued. By honoring these heroes, we hope to eliminate discrimination and promote social justice. That's a wrap for today. Hope you have a great week, and we'll be back again next week.